Did you guys know we recently hit 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube? Well, we'd actually be at more like 6,000 if the 85% of you returning viewers actually hit the subscribe button. You scroll down just a little bit and there's going to be a subscribe button for you guys right here. You can even hit like on the video or share it with your friends too while you're down there. And our description box down below also has links to all of the different socials I have. And the best part is you can even leave a comment telling me how much you enjoyed the video, or didn't. I don't care, it's your life. Subscribing doesn't take anything but that 1 second of time, and it really helps make sure that you don't miss any of my uploads. So if you are enjoying watching all of my content, it helps you out, and it helps me out. Now that you've done that, let's get back to the video. What is going on, everybody? Ninja Nick. We are back for the third and final round of this league challenge in East Greenbush, New York. Best of 1. And yeah, it is a Gardevoir mirror. Myself on the left this time versus Nate on the right again, as he was in the previous round. Both of us are 1-1. We are playing for second place at this point. However, that will not earn me any championship points if I do get second. At this point, just playing for the packs. This was supposed to be a winning box, but we got a little bit too low of a turnout. So, I might need to skip. Okay, we are starting. All right. I was about to say we might need to start just skipping slightly ahead, but no, we're fine. So, Nate does start with the Artisan, is going to allow him to find any basic Pokemon that's not a rule box Pokemon from his deck to put onto the bench. So probably another Ralt, maybe a Mew as well. I would have really have liked to have been playing Mew EX in this tournament, but unfortunately it did not come in the mail in time. Although I'm pretty sure I have enough store credit at my one locals to buy the Mew collection box. So I could have gotten an alt-art one that way, but that's a lot of money to spend. I'd rather hold on to that store credit for other cards. I don't like buying sealed product. I like buying just singles. It's a lot better that way. So we are going to see the Mysterious Tail after this. We'll find a level ball, not a VIP pass. I know that's exactly what he was looking for, was a battle VIP pass, but unfortunately for him, not quite getting there. Of course, Noah, who we saw in the last 2 rounds, is the only 2-0 in the tournament, so he's at this point basically guaranteed first. He got down paired to the only senior in the tournament, who was 0-2 at this point, and the senior gave him the win. So he could say that he was 0-3 and got first in seniors, which I respect. So Noah locked for first. This is the championship battle for top 2. So Nate, my opponent, even said, you want an ID? Just see what happens? And I said no, because since there's only 4 players, our resistance has a high resistance, and opponent's resistance will likely be completely even between the 2 of us. So it might go down to the first name tiebreaker, where Nate would beat me because his name is NA and mine is NI. And he alphabetically comes first. So that is why I chose not to ID here and risk it for the biscuit. I would have rather played it out. But Nate only getting a 2 Ralt start, a little bit better than his well, no, I guess equal to his previous round. But here I go. I'm going through. I'm checking my prize cards here. I pulled all the Pokemon to the front. I counted my energy, I believe, here to make sure I knew how many Psychics and Reversals are prized. I believe it's 1 Psychic prized. Double Ralts was pretty big. And I know there was 1 other Pokemon that was prized. I think maybe it was Mew. I could just look at the cards. I'm checking my supporters right now, and I think I prized 0 supporters because I'm like, yeah, the 4th INO is in hand. So yeah, definitely prized 0 of those. So we're gonna level ball to get the Ralts, and then we do have an Ultra Ball here as well. Now this is the thing I should have done a little different. I forgot my opponent has Artisan in play, so I should have just used the Artisan. I gotta start, like, drinking, like, 5-hour energies or something again when I go to Pokemon tournaments so I can actually, like, use my brain. Here I Ultra Ball away a Rare Candy and a Psychic Energy. And this is a potential misplay. It's technically, like, I did the correct thing, but yeah, I'm like, I was about to Roar the Sword, and I'm like, oh wait, let me use the Artisan, and I'm thinking about it. Now, my hand is Gardevoir EX, Barrage Step, and Ino. And I want I'm expecting Nate to not take a knockout this turn, so I just go for the Roar of the Sword, I fail the Artisan. So I could have held either the Level Ball or the Ultra Ball in hand for this next turn to get the... well, I already have the Mirage Step Curlia. Well, I could have held the Ultra Ball, which would have allowed me to hold the basic Psychic Energy. Then I could retreat with my 2 Energy Zacian there into a Mirage Step and then do it. But I'm not going to be able to do that play now if I cannot find a Psychic Energy off the top of my deck from this INO. So now I'm risking that I draw into my own Refinement Curlias. And I'm really putting myself into a bind if I have to go for the Mirage Step in that instance. So we do see the Artisan is going to get Nate yet another Ralts here. Did forget one card in his deck, so I just like leisurely slide it to him here. So now he's going to be looking for some Curlias to be able to use some refinements to get going here. If I do Mirage Step, he's going to be 2 turns of refinement ahead of me, basically, because he could refinement this turn and the next turn, so. Or 1 turn of refinement ahead of me. Which could always be relevant. Sometimes just evolving into all of your Curlias can be a little bit better than Mirage Stepping in the mirror. Just because you get that deeper draw. 1 more turn of deep draw. So we are going to see the Mew as well. Is going to look at the top 6 cards of the deck and fail to find there. So we have used 1 Curlia. Do we find another one? We have 1 more Ralts capable of evolution this turn. And it looks like there's a couple Battle VIP passes in hand now. Of course, always draw on that turn too. So I'm going to draw for turn because it's just a pass. And my top deck is unfortunately Luxray and not a Psychic Energy. So I evolve into the Mirage Step Curlia. And I'm hoping to draw a Psychic Energy off of this INO and no Refinement Curlias. Because if I draw no Refinement Curlias, or even just 1, I'll be able to go for the Mirage Step and get the other 2 to 3 Curlias right out of my deck. And of course, the first 2 cards I draw are both Refinement Curlia. So now, I have to decide on whether or not I'm even going to do that, and do I want to just have 2 Curlias in play this turn instead. So yeah, I am going to evolve into Refinement Curlia, discard the VIP to draw 2 more cards, and I do have a Fog Crystal that would allow me to get another Ralts if I had one, but they are hiding in those prize cards, unfortunately, so I'm going to really have to find a way to win just off of these 2 Curlias in play, but I do get that Psychic Energy that I wanted, so I am able to attach Return to the Zacian, and this can be a little risky, because if my opponent just has, like, Rare Candy, for the EX and the regular Gardevoir, like we could actually see like a Reversal Energy big knockout come onto the Zacian, tie up the game, and then I'm the one who's down on more Curlias here. So that'll be rough if that's what happens. So I use my Fog Crystal just to find a Mew. In case that happens and my Zacian gets knocked out, I can promote the Mew to try to keep going. And we do take the knockout here on the Mew, taking our first prize card of the game, activating my opponent's potential reversal energies. So here comes the Radiant Greninja. That will allow another source of drawing 2 every turn. So we're going to see that. We do find a Refinement Kirlia. So now we have 2 of those in play. So we still have 2 more cards that we can use to discard draw 2 this turn. As well as a Fog Crystal. We might use that to get a Psychic Energy out of the deck now. Or to just get another Ralts as well. Would be fine as well. But yeah, we're going to get rid of that Psychic Energy out of the deck. We'll be able to discard that with the Refinement. Just start stacking up that discard pile with as many of these Psychic Energies as possible. Nate vigorously shuffling his deck as hard as he can, so that maybe there will be something good on these top 2 cards. So we're going to use the Refinement, discard the Psychic, draw 2. We found another Psychic, which we can discard to draw 2. And a Fog Crystal here is going to get yet another Psychic Energy. Are we going to see the attack? But nope. Looks like we're not going to attack with the Ralts this turn. We're going to just retreat into the Radiant Greninja so that we can evolve into the Kirlia here. We do get yet another Kirlia into play. So Nate's board is actually getting set up really well, even though he's 2 prize cards behind. I'm racing to try to find my Ralts out of my prize cards because of the way I drew off of my own INO. And Nate's getting all set up here, so this could actually be really good for him. Because this will force me to go through the Radiant Greninja, which is not what I want to go through. I'd rather go through the Kirlia. So I better have a good 5 cards in hand, and spoiler alert, I do find boss's orders this turn. So I'm like, can I evolve my my Mew into a Kirlia? So I do find my Radiant Greninja here. So I'm deciding whether or not I want to get rid of my reversal energy here because I am ahead on prize cards, and I'm like, nah, it might still be useful. If I find a Psychic Energy off of the Refinement, then I'll get rid of it, and if not, then I'll get rid of the reversal energy with the Greninja instead. But yeah, now I'm evolving into the Shining Arcana Gardevoir to draw yet another 2 cards, and what did I draw off of this here? I do know that in this hand I do have a boss's orders. So I am going to be able to bring up one of the Kirlias to knock them out instead of the Radiant Greninja. The only other thing is, what else do I do here? My concern right now is if my opponent is able to go for a Cresselia play, they can knock out my Kirlia that's on the bench. So I want to evolve into the Gardevoir EX just so that it has more HP. Not that I'm actually using the ability of it at all. I just want to make sure that, yes, I'm turning it into a 2-prize liability instead of just a 1-prizer. But I would rather force my opponent to go for boss's orders like Big Zacian, and then I can just respond with the Zacian I already have built up. And it's a lot less likely that Nate's going to be able to get into that than he would be able to just get into, like, Cresselia Gardevoir EX. Because we know he has quite a lot of Psychic Energies in the discard pile. Yeah, so I just pull the Kirlia straight up. Normally I just like point at it and make my opponent do it, but I just straight up pulled it straight to the active. I'm like, come here, boy. And I do take the Storm Slash knockout. So off of this, you see me on my notepad, I did scratch something off. That is because I did, in fact, pull a Ralts off of that prize card. My first prize card was not one, but this one was. So I may be able to start finding my way to an additional Gardevoir. But again, it's still going to be weak to that Cresselia. The Cresselia will be able to knock out a Ralts if I put it down, but at least the Cresselia knocking out a Ralts is a little bit better than like a Zacian knocking out a Gardevoir EX, right? So we are going to see the Super Rod here from Nate is going to put back Ralts, Kirlia, and we're going to level ball that Ralts immediately back out. He puts it a little bit sideways to show that he can't evolve that this turn. Or, no, straightens it out. Okay. He was just pulling it out of the deck really fast. Very vigorous with the shuffling here. Whenever Nate like is breaking a little bit, he shuffles a lot. Then again, so do I sometimes too. So we are going to see the Greninja's concealed cards drawn another 2 cards. And we are trying to find Gardevoirs for these Kirlias to evolve into. But we are going to use all of the refinements first before that. Because otherwise, why would you want to waste a Kirlia like that? Waste the ability. Use it before you evolve. So we do evolve into the EX. We still have one more Kirlia we can use, getting rid of yet another Battle VIP pass. We're going to be able to draw yet another 2 here. And we did find both the Gardevoirs we needed, so we can Shining Arcana now. Drawing 2 cards. Looks like he does find a Psychic Energy. Chooses not to attach it, though. I don't think you necessarily need to attach it, and it would allow you to draw more cards with Greninja on the next turn, so I don't blame him for not doing it, but I think I probably would have anyway. So we should have enough energies in the discard pile to take the knockout. That's 5, 6, 7, 8 times 3. Yeah, so with 6 energy, that should be 240. The way I always do it is you can count the energies and then count the Gardevoir itself as 2, and then multiply whatever number you get by 30. So like by 3 and then by 10. So there's 6 energy, plus 2 for the Gardevoir itself is 8, times 3 is 24, times 10 is 240. That's like the way I do my math in my head. But then I still get like too antsy, and then I actually count up and I'm like 60, 90, 120, and that takes way too long, but I still can't help doing it sometimes. So I do have the Ralts there. I did put that down finally. We are going to Shining Arcana first because there's the... I think you should always Shining Arcana first because that gives you the highest odds of finding Psychic Energies from your deck, because if you draw into Psychic Energies off of one of the other abilities, then there's less energies in the deck to potentially get with the Shining Arcana. So I do Artisan, and I get my Cresselia out here. And my plan here is actually to take the knockout with Cresselia. Because that Gardevoir does have 40 HP remaining, so I can just use my Psychic Embrace to put 20 damage on the Mew and the active, retreat it, and put that same energy back onto the Cresselia, put 20 on it, then there's 40 on my board, and I can move all of that and knock out the Gardevoir. So only having to use 1 energy to take a knockout is actually pretty good. So it's a very conservative play. And not having to put my own Gardevoirs in the active is pretty great as well. Because he does have a Gardevoir EX in play, he could always just promote that, get energies from the discard pile, and hit me. So trying to keep my Gardevoirs on the bench where they belong. And then I'm going to move that 40 damage to the active and take the knockout. That will also remove one of the Pokemon that my opponent has in play that does allow him to draw cards. He has quite a few cards in hand still, but I would rather just take care of whatever the immediate threat is. I do not have anywhere near enough... Yeah, I do not have anywhere near enough energy in my discard pile to be able to take a meaningful knockout on anything, like the Gardevoir EX, for example, because I only have like 4 energy cards in my discard pile or something to work with. Or maybe it's like 3 plus the one that's on the Cresselia right now. So that's another reason why I went for this Cresselia play. So right here, I'm hoping that he doesn't get any more Psychic Pokemon into play, just because then the Pokemon he'll knock out with the Cresselia will be the Mew instead of my Ralts. I really want to keep my Ralts in play, because I do have the Refinement Curlia still in hand. From way in the beginning of the game, I still have it, because neither of us has played Ino at all, I think. We are going to see a Zinnia is going to discard an Ultra Ball, as well as an Ino, and is going to draw Nate a fresh 6 cards. Zinnia's Resolve is a very interesting card, allowing you to forcing you to discard 2 cards to be able to draw equal to the amount of Pokemon your opponent has in play. He was really hoping to have a Boss's Orders this turn, and of course draws the double Boss's Orders off of the Zinnia. Was not quite where he needed to be, unfortunately, in order to get everything going the way he wanted to. But does find the Rare Candy Shining Arcana Gardevoir. He can draw 2 more cards this turn with that Gardevoir, and then he can take a knockout with the Gardevoir here. Or does he find a way to have another Psychic Pokemon in play so that he can knock out my Ralts on the bench? So we are going to Shining Arcana, drawing 2 more cards. We are going to attach a Reversal Energy here. So at this point, I'm assuming he's going to swing into me hitting for 150 because I do have less prizes than him remaining. But now we're going to see the concealed cards of the Greninja is going to discard and draw 2. And it looks like we did draw a Psychic Pokemon off of that. But which one was it? Was that a Curlia? Oh, I remember exactly what he does this turn. So now he retreats his Gardevoir with the Reversal Energy as the 2 energy cards he needs to retreat, so that he can knock out my Ralts on the bench, because he's not afraid of my Cresselia. My Cresselia can't do much of anything on this next turn, so there's no point in him knocking it out. He'd much rather get a more useful knockout on the Ralts, but in order to do that, he has to put down this Zacian V, and that is another easy low HP 2-prize liability for me. So as long as I have Boss's Orders, he's going to be real scared of what's going on here. And yeah, we're going to put 4 energy into play, which is 80 damage counters, which gets moved to my Ralts to take it out. And that's a little bit sad for me here. But I do immediately top deck Super Rod. I already had a Super Rod in hand, but I tell my opponent, oh, I just top deck Super Rod. So now I can put the Ralts as well as the Zacian V back into my deck. And hopefully we will find our way to get into the Ralts. So I start shuffling, forgetting I have the Artisan in play to get the Ralts, but then I remember while I'm shuffling, because I'm looking at the board. So give me a second, I'll do it. I'll use the Artisan to get the Ralts back out. So there it is. So all of Nate's hard work, you can see his fist there. He's like, ugh. He's like, I just knocked you out. Why are you back? Zombie Ralts coming in clutch. You guys see Ahsoka? There were zombies in that. No spoilers as to what happens, but there were zombies in it. Alright, discarding the reversal energy to draw 2 more cards. Another discard of the reversal energy I'm not necessarily too happy about, but I want to still keep cycling through my deck as much as I can. Although that one... Yeah, I'm really not sure what I want to do this turn because I really want... Yeah, so I discarded that energy with the Greninja because I was really digging for a way to be able to boss up the Zacian and take the knockout on it, but I just do not have enough psychic energy. I only have 3 psychic energy in my discard pile right now. And the one on my active, so that's 4. And my reversal energy isn't active because I'm ahead on prize cards. So I was digging for some sort of way to knock out that Zacian. But in hindsight, I should have kept the reversal energy, and we'll see why in a moment. At the very least, just to be able to, like, retreat the Greninja if it gets bossed up and just, like, Nate tries to go for a stall tactic to try to, like, win based on, like, decking me out or something. I mean, he has a ton of cards in hand that can easily go to the bottom of his deck with an INO. So I might actually deck out first, but I do have quite a few cards in my hand as well. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out any possible way to try to piece together this boss's orders play, and it's just not happening, so I'm just going to go for this worker here, just to get rid of my own Artisan, prevent Nate from finding any more Ralts to put onto his bench if he, like, super odds or something. And I do have a Collapsed Stadium as well. I believe that's in my hand, so I could still play that down if I wanted to. Also, playing the double level ball at the same time is incorrect, sort of, because I'm trying to thin, but there's only 1 Pokemon left in my deck, and I do have an Ultra Ball in hand, so I could have Ultra Ball discarding one of the level balls and that, Manaphy that I just pulled out of there. But yeah, this is just in case I get INO'd, there's less dead cards in my deck to potentially redraw into after my deck gets shuffled, so... I'm trying to hold on to that energy that's in hand, so I'm going to get rid of my own INO as well as a Manaphy to find this Luxray. I should have, in hindsight, gotten the Zacian, because if I don't get INO'd, that's actually a playable card. And I thought I had a second Ultra Ball in my hand for some reason, which is why I went for the Zacian. Because then I was going to discard that off of the Ultra Ball, but it's fine. It's irrelevant anyway. So I still have that Curly in hand from the beginning of the game. I am going to attach for turn to the Gardevoir on my bench and then take it back immediately because I'm like, no, do I want to do that? Because I am thinking about what if Nate bosses my Greninja. Like, that's a serious concern for me right now. So I am just going to retreat into the Gardevoir because I have no other way to take a prize card. I couldn't go for boss. So I'm just going to have to go down to 2 prize cards remaining. Hope that I don't get, like, INO'd or have my Gardevoir EX get bossed up and knocked out. I also think in hindsight, maybe I should have bossed up the Shining Arcana Gardevoir and knocked that out with my own. Because then that would be one less, like, actual attacking threat that my opponent has. Because, like, I don't really care so much about the Cresselia, especially since it can help him put energies into his own board that I would necessarily not want him to have in his discard pile, you know? So I'm not sure if bossing up the Shining Arcana was correct or not, but I definitely want to hold the boss in hand so that I have it for the Zacian on this next turn, because I know that that is how I win the game. But Nate could just INO me right here, and that could be troublesome because I don't have any Pokemon in play that can draw me cards except for that Greninja. But I think Nate discarded all of his Ionos just trying to get going at this point. And I don't even know if he has any left. Plus, he has so many cards in hand, I don't even know if he wants to use an Iono of his own. But here he goes. He uses the boss's order, so this is actually pretty huge here. So he is going to be able to go for my Gardevoir EX and take the knockout. He does get the reversal energy on his active, which is another reason why I should have been able to just boss that up and knock it out. I do still have access to the POW pad, so I could have always bossed and then POW padded the boss back in, I believe. Do I have it in hand right now? No, I don't. But I do believe the POW pad's in deck. Yeah, it's definitely not in discard. And I know my last two prizes are, I think it's Shining Arcana Gardevoir and Psychic Energy. Based what I wrote down in my notebook from identifying my prize cards. I took the 2 prize cards I didn't identify, and then 2 of the Ralts. So we're going to see an Ultra Ball is going to get another Gardevoir EX out of the deck here for Nate. We are going to see maybe a POW pad come out here. We're going to put in probably, I think Boss Iono is correct, but he's going to go for Boss Zinnia. I think he's thinking in case he gets Iono'd, he'll have the Zinnia available to be able to draw a whole bunch of cards, which is definitely correct thinking. I think Iono Zinnia would have been the correct choice, actually, because if you're getting the knockout on my Gardevoir EX here now, you're only 1 prize card away from winning, and you should be able to go through a second Gardevoir EX, hopefully. So, like, my only punish to that would be to rare candy into another Gardevoir EX with that Ralts I have on the bench. So, Ultra Ball getting rid of Worker Curlia, just to thin again because there is a huge hand there for Nate. But again, I was thinking about playing that boss's orders the last turn. I have it still in hand. So I just need to be able to take this knockout on the Zacian. And now that my opponent has gone ahead and gone for this boss play, that's why I should have held the reversal energy, because now I'm behind in this game, meaning that I could have used reversal energy here on my own Gardevoir. But I discarded both of those with concealed cards. So that was a mistake from me. Going a little bit too greedy, trying to take that Zacian KO 1 turn early. And my top deck had to be exactly Gardevoir EX, because I already have 2 rare candy in hand as well as a research. And I don't have any more rare candies left in my deck because there's already 1 in the discard pile. So I rare candy into that, and now I should be able to take the game. All that I need to do is find enough energies. I do have a couple of them at least in the discard pile, and Shining Arcana here does not find me another energy, but I did draw into 1 off of the concealed cards, so I will be able to attach 1 for turn, plus whatever's in my discard pile. I have 2 remaining, so that'll be 40 more damage on me, and then this is exactly enough to do 240 in order to have enough to take the game. And there is that boss that I was holding on to take the knockout, and I end up taking 2nd place at this league challenge. And you know what I got out of my 9 packs for 2nd place? 9 packs. Those were my pulls. So as always, guys, this is why I don't buy sealed product. As always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next time.